Today we're rating custom Magic the Gathering cards, and we're going to start off with the Technical Technocrat. This is a 2/2 artifact creature advisor. Now, as long as you have at least one life and at least one card in your library, you can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game. And the flavor text is, strictly speaking, the rules do say ... So this is like a, basically, insanely situational worship? Because you need to have at least one life and at least one card in your library. If I understand correctly, you can just get smacked for, like, I guess 2 damage at 2 life, and then you actually die. So you really need to be on the brink of death for this card to do anything. If you have at least one life and at least one card. Oh no, maybe I'm wrong here. So if you have at least one life, then that also means 2 and at least one card in your library. You can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game. No, so, okay, so if you have 2 or more life. No, but what if you lose it? Oh no, you can't lose the game. Oh, I think, okay, so someone can just kill you still, right? I think they can just kill you with life, because they've reduced your life to 0. It's just that no one can, like, Thassa's Oracle you. How does this card work? Okay, I'm now very, very confused. I thought I understood how this card worked, but maybe I don't. I think it's just now preventing people from winning the game via Thassa's Oracle, or someone, like, targeting you with the door to nothingness and saying, like, you lose the game. So, anyway, I think it's cool either way. However you want to interpret this card. Okay, we got the Cub of the Dream Den. Was this like the baby of Lurrus? For a hybrid of a white or a black, it's a 1/1 cat nightmare. Orzhov, that's what I was thinking of. Lifelink. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a non-land permanent with mana valued 1 or less from your graveyard. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a non-land permanent with mana value 1 or less from your graveyard. This card is broken! It's just as bad as the original Lurrus. There's no way I'm letting that thing go by. Absolutely not. Yeah, it seems kind of dangerous. It's the exact same problem we had with the OG Lurrus, except this one's cheaper. You can have 4 in your main deck, which I guess is technically weaker than having 1 100% of the time in the command zone. Too strong! Hold on, is there anything similar to this? I guess it's similar to that blue merfolk. I can't remember what its name was, where you tap and you can bring, you can recast a spell in your graveyard. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a non-land permanent spell with mana value 1 or less from your graveyard. It's very similar. What is that blue merfolk I'm thinking of? I got the word Areo in my head, but it's not Areo. It starts with, it probably starts with an E though. And only a few combos. A cub can recast another cub too. You're right. And then the cubs will, in combination, be able to cast multiple things per turn. Oh man, this with like those mana eggs. The eggs, you crack the eggs, draw some cards. You could do that over and over and over again. Anyway, I mean, obviously, I think it's a little too strong. I don't know, maybe it's Commander playable. Who cares? What does Commander care? But in one-on-one Magic, I don't like it. I absolutely don't like it. Someone help me with that merfolk, though. It's just gnawing on my brain really hard. All right, first off, we're going to start off with the donations coming out fast with the Winter Fox. Single Dream Mirror Fantasia. Does that have something to do with that, with Disney? Okay, we got the single mirror. Remember, you can donate. You gotta be, remember, I have instructions in the description. Sorry, hold on. Dream Mirror. Become part of my Discord, make a donation, give me the title of your card. I look up the card, I share it with everybody. That's how it works around here. Okay, this is the Dream Mirror of Children's Fantasia. It is a colorless snow, 6 generic. 0/1! It's a very small creature for a big mana cost. Now, it's just a Dream Mirror concept with Shroud, Indestructible, and Ward 3. What's the Ward 3 for? It's got Shroud. No one's even allowed to target it in the first place. It seems absolutely completely redundant. Yeah, Yeah, that's pointless. If Dream Mirror of Children's Fantasia blocks the controller of the attacking creature, take all damage that would be dealt to you instead. All right, so if we block a creature, we're attacking back for the same damage you dealt to us, that you would have dealt to us. All non-Dream Mirror creatures on the battlefield have their power and toughness switched. All non-Dream Mirror. I was like, you're gonna change everything? Is this thing instant? This card would just instantly die. No, outside of that, I think this card is totally fine. This is incredibly overcosted for what it does. Has some rend. I mean, you can have Ward 3 at the same time. You could, except Shroud, Pierce, Proofing. Oh, somewhere in the future, all creatures lose Shroud. Well, you've gotten through my Shroud, but have you gotten through the next line of defense, the Ward 3? Seems way too expensive. Will Anderson, I don't think you've seen enough cards coming out of Winter Fox. This is just, that's the style. The style is these overcosted, powerful effects. Okay, Haunted with the Past in the freebie section. It is a black-blue 1 generic sorcery. Target player mills 4 cards and loses life equal to the number of creature cards in their graveyard. Also has Intrude. When you cast this spell, each player, other than targeted, can pay 3 to copy it. Oh, I see. So I target this person, someone else may pay 3 and also have a copy. Each player who did must choose the same target for the copy. Hey, anyone else want to get in on this? I can sell some action for 3 mana. 3 mana? You also want a Haunted with the Past? You want a Haunted with the Past? All right, I'm taking for 3 mana. Okay, let's go. What's it? Target player mills 4 cards, then loses life equal to the number of creature cards in their graveyard. We're gonna punish those dredge players. We're gonna punish anyone that self-mills themselves. They're gonna feel the pain. They're gonna feel, if they didn't feel haunted before, they will now. I think this is a cool card. I hope it's not broken. At the very least, it's gonna make people lose faith in their singular rares that they have in their deck. You're gonna mill them out. Okay, next up, let's look at Alex Gibson, Master Key for Blue-Red Rooms in Limited. Shout out to Pedgeman, who literally invented rooms before they were rooms. You saw it here on Coffee and MTG. Okay, so in the next set, like, was it Duskmorn or something? They've invented a new card type called rooms, and it's literally exactly what Pedgeman was making for, like, months. Okay, Master Key for a red-blue artifact. When the Master Key enters, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a room card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay, so it's like an impulse for the rooms. Now for 5 mana, tap, exile Master Key, unlock a door of a room you control. This ability costs 2 less to activate if there are 6 or more different names among unlocked doors of rooms you control. Now honestly, I've never played with a room. I don't know what playing with rooms looks like, because I've never played with or against one, so I'm just gonna have to say that this is a pass. We're already printing the cheat codes to the new cards that haven't even been released yet. The Master Key, literally in the name. Freebie section. What is this? The Ascent to Power. So this is an enchantment policy. This is not quite, it looks like a saga. It's not a saga. All right, it's the Ascent to Power. Once a turn as a sorcery, mark a condition as complete. When all are complete, transform it. When Ascent to Power enters, you may sacrifice a creature, discard a card, or pay 3 life. If you do, draw 2 cards? So 3 mana, discard. Okay, I could get behind that. Now the policies. As a sorry, mark a condition as complete once a turn. Okay, so this is like, why is this just not a saga? Why are we making this complicated? Okay, the first one, you've sacrificed a non-land permanent this turn. Oh, it's looking for conditions we have met. All right, so once per turn, we gotta sacrifice something. You've discarded a card this turn, and you've lost life this turn. And I guess if you've met all the conditions, we move over to the Omnipotence. Legendary enchantment. Your maximum hand size is 0. That sucks. And pay 1 life, draw a card. Activate only as a sorcery. Interesting. We're reprinting Yawgmoth's Bargain, which could endanger But you know what? I think it's actually really hard to get online, so I could totally get behind this. It's a cool card. Love it. Okay, next up, let's take a look at some donations. Remember, we're only getting through the single card donation for the first third of the show, and then after the sponsored segment, we're going to get through all the series of cards. We got the Protein Discharge coming from Elixir. The Protein Discharge. This is a white instant. Exile target creature with at least 2 creature types. Exile target. Okay, honestly, fine. I don't really have a whole lot to say about this. It's like a situational 1-mana removal spell, which I think is fair. You know what? You can't hit, like... Can you hit Goblin? I was about to say, you can't hit Goblin Guide, but I think it's a Goblin Scout. I mean, it's probably going to hit a lot of cards, but it just can't hit everything. I have no idea how many cards this hits. I want to say, like, probably half the creatures in the game are at least 2 creature types. Ooh, anti-changeling tech. That's right, that Morophon. You're everything. I mean, most creatures have 2 types at least. I don't know. Is that true? I think maybe half. Can anyone do the numbers? That's probably not something you can easily discover on Scryfall. That's definitely for the people in the comments section on the replay. What number of creatures in the game, like what proportion are like 2x or higher? Tom Square is like, wow, what a card to walk in on. That's right. Nameless Race has 0? Is that true? Yeah, it might. I don't remember what the Oracle text is on that card. All right, yeah, we got it. You can have a Protein Discharge. There's probably some joke in there for the chemists. This isn't what I wished for, Illuna. I do not know the reference. Moving on, we got Mana Fixing, the card. You ever needed some Mana Fixing, Commander players? Well, there it is. For X, is this... Oh, it's a lesson. You need to play one of those Strixhaven cards to get this. Add X mana in any combination of colors. If X is 5 or more, you get to draw a card. This is the very basic of the basic. Does this... Oh, yeah, it does fix mana. That's right. It's X. That's cool. Would anyone want to play this? It's literally a mana fixer. I think this is a very interesting card if it's not a lesson. Like, why not? Okay, you need 5 mana to like cantrip off of this, and other than that, like early on in the game, it's literally just a mana fixer to like whatever the hell you want to play. To be honest, I think it would be... Honestly, I think it'd be unplayable. And if it needs to be in lesson form, it probably is still unplayable. Or maybe it's better as a lesson, because it's just like a bonus to the card you're playing already anyway. If you have to put this in your 75, that would just be brutally terrible. Lessons can be played in the main deck without need of things with learn. Oh, can they? I didn't know that. I've never seen someone play with a lesson before. Probably because all the lessons are stone cold trash. There was like a Shadowmoor card that did something similar. Oh, you mean Manamorphose? You see, Manamorphose, arguably, in danger. Arguably. Especially since it gets to cantrip immediately. And also, was never used for its intended purpose. Like, nobody fixes their mana with Manamorphose. It's just Storm decks, drawing cards for nothing, and netting mana with, like, a mana reducer. So that, like, you know... Yeah, there was a key card from Shadowmoor once upon a time. This is the fixed version. This is the fixed mana fixing card, if you know what I mean. All right, cool. Definitely gets a pass from me. Okay, next up, we got Will Anderson, the Outcast of the Fjords. What's a fjord? Okay, a blue 1/2. Ooh, it's a wizard merfolk. Print it immediately. I don't need to read the rest of it. It's a blue 1/2. I'm sold. And it's got a bunch of extra text on it. It's a merfolk wizard. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a land you control on top of your library. You may shuffle your library. Why would I even want to do this? At my upkeep, put a land you control. That's terrible. At the beginning of your end step, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. I don't understand the point of this card. So I was a little bit curious, and now I'm like, why? Put a land I control on top of my library. You may shuffle your library. And then at the beginning of your end step, search your library for a basic land card. So, oh, does this like net me some mana? It's like blinking the land. That's all I'm reading here. Landfall, maybe you get a little bit of landfall. Yeah, the landfall people, they'll be like, that's landfall. They'll look at any card and say, oh, did that just put a land back onto the battlefield? That's landfall. Did it blink a land? That's landfall. You get bonus lands at upkeep for draw and end step on the battlefield. No, I don't. It's not a bonus land. I put a land I control on the battlefield on top of my library. I Stone Rain myself here. I Stone Rain myself, and guess what? If this thing dies, if they kill this thing, then I don't get that land back. If you choose not to shuffle, it's basically ramp. How? Okay. How is this ramp? I don't understand. At the beginning, I have to put a land I control on top of my library. I have to do this. It actually looks terrible. I take it back. I don't like this card at all. Like, I mean, it's playable, but I would never play this in a tournament. This is specific. Okay, this is very, very hard to the commander side. This is a very commander-like card. Yeah, reading the card explains the card. I'm not sure I grok this card. What? So you filter your lands and you have to shuffle. Oh, it does say your basic land. So if you have a deck with multiple colors, let's say a five color deck, because I'm thinking this has like a mono blue Merfolk player. I will literally not gain anything out of this. I'll put an island on top, and I'm gonna put an island back on top of my deck. You ramp for other players' turns. Oh, at the beginning of your end step. No, it says at the beginning of your end step, search your library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield. Isn't this your card? Whose super chat is this? Or is it somebody else's super chat? You ramp for at the beginning of your upkeep, put a land you control on top. It's just, I don't get it. Yeah, completely misread the card. One extra land on opponent's turn. Oh, okay, am I missing something? At the beginning of your end step, not other people's, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a land you control on top of your library, you shuffle. I don't know where everyone's getting this ramp thing from. This is insane. I don't know about filtering, but you put land on top any land, get basic, so it's like, and then you get to have one more land on top on an opponent's turn. I still don't read that. Everyone's like, you get a land. I mean, I guess for commander players, it's just assume, well, if you get an effect at end of turn, it's at the end of everybody's turn. But this card actually specifically says only until your turn. I mean, it passes. I think this is a high risk, low reward card, though. This is just complete. So you get mega ramp, but you always draw lands till you kill it. No, there's no ramp here. Being of my upkeep, I lose a card. Oh, I see. The turn that it comes into play, I get one land. That we do get that. You know what? I didn't think about. That might actually be worth it. So, hold on. No, but then we have to give it back next turn. Speaking of your upkeep. So, like, turn 1, I go get a land. Yeah, the end step will happen, plus then upkeep -1. So it's like a wash. What the hell is the point of this? Okay, yeah, you guys are like sort of right that it's ramp. Like we'll immediately get one land to use immediately, but then we got to give it back. I almost feel like killing this thing so I can keep that land. Upkeep is before the draw phase. No, but the end step is before the first upkeep. That is true. You can shuffle at the end phase. You get a land anyway. Yeah, so we have Green Kitty. In the end step, you play an extra land. Yeah, and then upkeep, send one to the deck, draw it, and then play it. 2 lands in a turn, ramp. But it's not 2 land. Is it really? It's not really. If I play the land from my hand, it's literally just my land drop. It was literally my land. I mean, I'll concede this. will get an extra land at the end of my turn. So at the end of everybody, like on my opponent's turn, I will have 1 extra mana source. On my turn, I have only my land drops, and that's it. It is interesting, like, I will guarantee a land every turn, so we've got that going for it, I suppose. But it is like, it's got some risk at the beginning of my upkeep. I gotta put a land back on top of my deck. Oh no, there is no risk. I see. So we get a land, that was free, we're free rolling it. You know what? It was an interesting discussion. We're gonna give it a pass. I have no idea how this card would look like in practice. Okay, next up. Oh, if you chump block with it, it's rampant growth for a blue. Oh boy is right. I like that. I like that. That's, you know, that's cool. I like that a lot. Okay, maybe it's broken. Wait, this is if nothing else, this is a very interesting card to talk about. If nothing else. Okay, we're digging. You know, maybe this card actually has something going for it. Yeah, play it on turn 1. End step, get second land. Start turn 2. No. We should chump block with this thing. We need this thing to die. It's gonna at least, like, halt our opponent from attacking us. Yeah, we need a sack outlet. Okay, the command bunker from the freebie section. It's a land. Tap. Add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity to your mana pool. Activate only if you control your commander. Now, don't we have like a million of these cards? That was so boring. I'm gonna move to another one. Okay, Isamaru, the Yargle, Multani. Sorry, Yargle, Isamaru, Yargle, and Multani. We have 3 creatures melded into 1 card. That's it. Okay, we have a green, Golgari, black, Orzhov, and a white. For 28, Dog, Frog, Elemental. Oh, are these all the vanilla cards? I think these are all the vanilla cards, because Isamaru does nothing. It's just a 1 mana 2/2 that is legendary. I've heard much about you from my daughter, Multani rumbled. There was a time when I'd bark at your aid, but... replied Yargle, and Isamaru added. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. I love how it gets +2/+2 on Yargle and Multani. Yep. This is a great flavor text. This is an absolute banger. Great job. We need more flavorful cards like this. Okay, next up, we have a super chat from Hagen McLean. Thank you very much for your super chat. We've got a Blood Money and Ill-Begotten Abundance. We're gonna look at 1 card because you have the super chat for 1 card. It's basically $2 a card. Okay, Blood Money. We have a red, black, 1 generic instant. Destroy target creature. Then create X treasure tokens where X is the destroyed creature's mana cost. So we blow up the creature, then we get treasure. Oh, that's interesting. You're gonna cash in on killing creatures. Does anyone have object to this? Like, I hope it's not broken. I mean, it might be insane ramp. Destroy target creature. So at 3 mana, we can get probably like 2 tokens out of killing like a 2 mana creature, and then we can play a 6-drop next turn. It's a bit strong. How about we lower it down to like one treasure? Yeah, I think it's interesting, but probably such a card hasn't ever come into existence. Probably because it's like really very suspicious. Super sus card. Just better murder. Come on. You have to splash red for this, Brawly Shadow. A whole second color. What do we expect? Murder, you can stay in mono black? It's busted. Print it. We found the Rakdos player. Ooh, I never thought about this, Steve Cooper. Rakdos, raccoon. I think I'm bringing it all together. It's all coming together right now. Needs to be reworded as you can use it on your own indestructible creatures. Do it. I don't think it's that insane. What indestructible creature are you going to use this on? X is destroyed creatures. Is it considered destroyed if you target an indestructible creature? Sounds like it actually has to die. Like if it doesn't die, then it don't do nothing. Yeah, removal and a load of free mana. Okay, how about this? 4 mana. How about we raise the bar to 4 mana? Maybe 4 mana is enough. Yeah, is the destroyed sounds like it must have died. Rakdos is arguably the strongest color pair at the moment anyway. In Commander, I would be scared. I would be pretty paranoid about this card in one Magic. You like Blood Money turn 3, and then play easily Vein Ripper turn 4 off them treasures. Maybe you actually do it. You can play 2 spells at once. Oh god, this okay. It actually could be way too strong. I didn't even think about that. This is like literally kill this creature plus play like a Tarmogoyf on the same turn. Okay, this probably is broken. You probably have to limit it to just like 1 treasure at most, and it would be like overwhelmingly powerful. In Pioneer, it was not too long ago in Modern. Saw in Half uses the correct templating. Whatever. I'm fine with the templating that we have over here. Fine. Okay, at 4 mana. I think probably this thing needs to be like 5 mana. 5 mana for the ability as is, because at 5 mana, you're basically just ramping in. You have enough mana to play anything, and the sweet spot is playing with stuff that's at like a bazillion mana, like, you know, 9 and 10. So let him do that. Okay, but outside of that, no, this card too strong. Too strong. It doesn't look like strong at first, but you start thinking about it. It's strong. An apple a day. Is a white-green 2 generic enchantment with cumulative upkeep, sacrifice of food. Any player may pay for this cost. People donate. I need a food bank over here. If this cost is paid, you gain 2 life for each food sacrifice this way. Oh, interesting. We're sacrificing the food, but somehow we're benefiting from it. When this card is sacrificed, create a 10/10 green and white giant doctor creature token with Ward 2, Trample, and Lifelink. Where did that come from? How would I just don't pay? Oh, I see. Oh. That's funny, yeah, Benjamin Berkeley. Is like, is that Bill Nye? Okay, if we want to keep Bill Nye away, everyone else at the table has to sacrifice food. But the problem is, like, why would you randomly have food at the table? Anyone would pay for this cost if the cost is paid? It should say, like, anyone can, like, I don't know, discard a card from their hand in order to make a food token. Oh, I see. It actually has... Reading the whole card explains the card. Pay 3 mana, create a food token. Any player may activate this ability. Well, what if you just ramp this thing out on turn 1? Lotus Petal. So we go Lotus Petal, land, Mana Vault, an apple a day. All right, GG, everyone, GG. There's no way that they can pay 3 mana to get a food token by next turn. I think this is a little too pushed. The card gives food. Well, at a price. It needs to be cheaper price here. You easily are going to have like a 10/10 green-white giant doctor creature token. Bill Nye wasn't even a doctor. He was a scientist. And then some people who really egg on Bill Nye say that Nye wasn't even a scientist. He was an engineer, which is close enough to me. Smarter than me. That's all I have to say. Dr. Jolly Green Giant MD, bro. Ward 2 and lifelink, you say. Does it also bring coffee? Well, hopefully it will give me a great diagnosis. But I'll tell you what the great doctor tells you right now. It tells you to buy from FusionGamingOnline.com. That's not medical advice. Oh, I can move myself over here. Deal of the week this week. Save 15% off all select high-end Magic singles. Yeah, if you're looking for an unlimited Soul Ring, you want the classics, or a foil promo Lightning Bolt, or a promo Judge promo this or that, 15% off at FusionGamingOnline.com. Not to mention, Duskmorn is around the corner. You want to get your... They got a new Merfolk coming out. I got to pre-order my Merfolk. And also, they've got the rooms. It's a horror set. It's Five Nights at Freddy's, the Magic the Gathering set, essentially. And you can get all your cards 5% off when you're using coupon code Nikachu at checkout. Not only does it support yourself, it also supports the channel. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. To be able to play any deck you want, any format, on Magic Online. And you can support the channel renting using my Mana Traders link below. Whoops. Or use my coupon code, which I got to fix in a second here. Nikachu_F90. There we go. To get 10% off your first 2 months with Mana Traders. Okay, let's get back to the fantastic cards of Reddit. Okay, we'll take a look at one more. We'll take a look at one more freebie before we go to Eternally. The paywalled cards. Okay, now we got the Sun Wukong, Heaven's Rebel. This is a white, green, red, 2 generic 2/2 monkey rebel. It be monkey. Okay, it's got indestructible. Why is the monkey indestructible? It's got myriad, and the legend rule doesn't apply to creature tokens you control. Okay, let's multiply our commander then. Let's multiply the Sun Wukong. Monkeys you control have, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you can pay 1. If you do, create a 2/2 green monkey illusion creature token. I don't know why you want to have multiple sun. This third line makes no sense to me, but I think this is okay. Okay, make a monkey duck. Stop monkeying around. Sun Wukong is made of stone, actually. Well, I don't know the lore. Remind me, what's myriad? Something to do with, like... Yeah, I don't remember either. It gets out quick, out of hand quick with myriad. What's myriad? Someone save us. I thought myriad was the ability that you have to attack someone that's not you. Like if you give someone a copy of this, but the problem is that this is under your control. If it attacks, oh, this is the one. If it attacks everyone. Okay, I was right that it attacks multiple. Okay, maybe I wasn't right at all. What's myriad we got? It attacks everyone. Attack one. Oh, that's why it's the legend rule doesn't apply to creature tokens you control, because you're about to make 2 more tokens as you attack everyone else. Yeah, I got my goads and my myriads mixed up. I don't play these types of cards, all right? I play good old-fashioned, clean Magic, as far as I'm concerned. All right, who do we go to first? We're going back to Winterfox. Winterfox with massive super chat. The Cat Box series. This is when we get the series out of the Cat Box, I guess. A series of 8 cards that need to be read from lowest mana cost / value to highest. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then finally 7. Okay, we're gonna get through. Do you have like a second super chat on this? Okay, we're gonna go through half. We're gonna go through the first half and we'll get through the second half later. Empty cat box. Okay, maybe we'll get through all of these because these are gonna be pretty simple and easy. 0 mana. It is a cat box. It is a cat box or a litter box. Probably, hopefully, they do not use it for the litter. Shroud. Oh, a box. Because who would target a box? All right. Who would do that? That would be so rude. Okay, that's easily passes. Okay, next we have the Happy Cat Box. It is a double cat. It's a 3 mana legendary artifact cat box, Shroud. So we have 2 cat waifus in here. You can only cast Happy Cat Box, double cat, if you control Empty Cat Box, new cat. Okay, so we need to have this in play, or we cannot lure the cats to the yard effectively. Wait, wrong one? This is the wrong one? Okay, hold on. The cat. Okay, what am I missing here? The cat box series. Hold on, maybe I have to go to the cat box series. Is that a different one? Or am I supposed? Okay, highest. Okay, needs to be read in sequence from lowest mana value to the highest. What am I doing wrong here? I thought I was doing it right. How is this the wrong one? You need to go down. Why does it says needs to be read from lowest mana value to highest? Or was it screwed up? Must be read by mana value. Oh, what was this? Oh, it's not in order by itself. Well, where's the second one? Were these just randomly uploaded or something? Oh, there's 2. Was not my fault. Okay, we found 1. Okay, we have 1 cat box. It is a 1 mana cat box. Has Shroud. You can only cast Happy Cat Box if you control Empty Cat Box. Artifacts you control are indestructible and cannot be exiled. If I fits, I sits. I think that's very cute. This is the 3 mana one. Maybe these had to be posted in sequence or something. How are these? They're all backwards. Okay, 2 mana. It's a cat box. Shroud. You can only cast Happy Cat Box, new cat, question mark, if you control Happy Cat Box. Tap, target creature's abilities are removed until end of turn. Any room for me? It's like a story almost. Now we get to the Happy Cat Box double cat, because we can squit 2 cat waifus in 1 cat cardboard box. Now this one has Shroud for some reason, because I guess the original cardboard box had Shroud. You can only cast Happy Cat Box, double cat, if you control the last card. Tap, reduce damage taken from all sources by one until end of turn. Oh, you reduce all damage by like 1 damage. So you get bolted. Okay, we can reduce 1. Double the cat. All right, now we need to get to Happy Cat Box, 3rd cat. So the 3rd cat arrives, sees there's 2 cats in 1 box. Well, there's got to be something there for me. Is a Shroud. You can only cast Happy Cat Box, 3rd cat if you control Empty Cat Box, double cat. Well, it's not so empty anymore, right? I posted it in sequence. Discord mixed it up like a shuffled library. It did, didn't it? During your upkeep, you gain 4 life. Excellent. Oh, hey, let me in the box. All right, now we got more people on the box. Oh, so we see like the feet over here. 5 mana, Happy Cat Box tripled. Boxed triple. Boxed triplet. Shroud, you can only cast Happy Cat Box if you have the last one. Tap, add 2 mana in any combination of colors of your choice. Oof, huh, wait, I'm willing to see this out. Where's the 6 mana one? Okay, well, here's 6 mana. Happy Cat Box, impending danger. This cat is very big than the last one. 6 mana, legendary artifact cat box, Shroud. You can only cast this one if you have the last one. Whenever you tap a land for mana, you gain 1 mana of any color of your choice. The effect only affects once per turn. Wait! Ruined cat box. So now it exploded, essentially. It is a legendary artifact cat box, Shroud. You can only cast Ruined Cat Box if you control the Happy Cat Box, impending danger. When Ruined Cat Box enters the battlefield, destroy all non-land permanents on the field if they do not have any abilities. Your opponents take 2 emotional damage per cat box that is destroyed this way. A fictitious damage that doesn't exist yet. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's an 8th one. Which one's 8? Did I miss one? 2, 5, 4, 3. Oh, there was 0. I forgot about 0. It's done. We did it. All right. Excellent. None of them are broken. They're all... I don't even know if they're a flavor win. Like, all the abilities have nothing to do with the other ones. Except the only ones that made sense was Empty Cat Box and Ruined Cat Box. These are the only 2 that make any sense. Or was it... Hold on, no. It was Impending Danger. It was the one where it blows everything up. Yeah, destroy all non-land permanents on the field if they do not have any abilities. So vanilla creatures. Yeah, the first one was 0. Okay, moving on. let's get on here. We have next up Darkstar Ashura. 5 cards. The Jund one is a redo and update of Lucius. Post name rare legendary creature cycle for my draft set. Rare legendary creature cycle. Okay, we're gonna start off with Madudungus and Water Lily. It is a black, blue, white, 1 generic, 3/3 giant fairy. Reach. Whenever you cast a non-legendary giant creature spell, you may copy it. Except the copy is a 1/1 fairy in addition to its other types and has flying. Do this only once each turn. The copy becomes a token. Whenever you cast a non-legendary giant spell, you can copy it, except it's a 1/1 fairy, 100%. Didn't they just print a card like this? They literally just made a card like I think it was spoiled from the new set. Like, you make a copy of the card, but it comes into play as like a 1/1. That's the only catch. Okay, next up, we got Adokron and Ziovit. This is a red, black, blue, 1 generic, 4/3 dragon wizard, flying menace. Other dragons you control are mounts, in addition to their other types, and have whenever this creature attacks while saddled. Create a tap treasure token. If a wizard saddled its way Create 2 tap treasure tokens instead and saddle 2. This is very limited like. This is for your cube. Okay, we have a 4 mana Astralos and Lucius. This is a 5/2 skeleton warlock. Okay, oh, here's the skeleton deck coming in. This is the skeleton deck coming to play here. Skeleton and warlock cards in your graveyard have escape for Jund mana. Exile 2 other cards from your graveyard. Oh yeah, I didn't actually question this. What is a mount? I know what a saddle is. Saddle is real. Oh no, no, it's like the same thing, isn't it? Or it's something similar? Explanation's gonna be in the chat. Okay, whenever Astralos and Lucius or another skeleton or warlock enters, if it entered from your graveyard or was cast from your graveyard, it deals damage equal to its power to any target, which is fine because most... is this fine? So exile 2 other cards from your graveyard plus 3 mana. This is literally... Isn't this cheaper to just, like, mill this into your graveyard and then play it from there? That's gotta be broken. Okay, it also has escape for 3 mana. Exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. Shouldn't the escape cost be more expensive than its original casting cost? It's just better to, like, mill this thing into the graveyard and then cast it from there. Just, I don't know, life from the loam, this thing. And it doesn't say when, yeah, it's like this thing can also dome someone for 5 damage. I think it's too strong. Honestly, I think it's way too strong. You could have something like when just another skeleton enters the battlefield. If it entered from your graveyard or if it was cast from your graveyard, it can deal damage to any target. But this is literally like 3 mana deal 5 damage. And I don't even think it's very hard to enable at all. Not to mention it's like it's a 5/2 creature. And the escape probably should be more expensive than its casting cost. It's like crewing, but for creatures instead of artifacts and vehicles. Oh, I thought that was saddle. Or maybe I was confusing saddle and mount. Danger and Dredge, yeah, I know. Oh my god, I wouldn't want to see this in Dredge. Yeah, probably too good in Madness X. It's just too easy to enable. Like, 3 mana is nothing. 3 mana exile 3 creatures from your graveyard. You can have that enabled by turn 2. Okay, next up, we've got Ogden and Tessa. This is 4 mana for a 4/4 elf dwarf. First strike vigilance, other dwarves get +1/+1 for each dwarf you control. That's okay, that's weird. We're trying to combine 2 different creature types together. When other dwarves you control have tap for a red. I think that's a pretty sick, cool card. Like, the thing is, there aren't that many dwarves in the game, so, you know, making something that can at least push dwarves a little bit, I think is a pretty neat design space. You see, my problem with this card is you're trying to push, like, skeletons and warlocks, but this card by itself needs nothing. It needs absolutely nothing to enable it. Okay, Viaria and Zephyra. This is a 4 mana 2/4 bird spirit, flying in shadow. It's a legendary creature, by the way. So it's like impossible to block because this creature can block or be blocked by only creatures with shadow. Although it's a useless blocker in itself. Okay, other birds and spirits you control get +1/+1, and for Bant mana until end of turn, another target bird or spirit you control gains shadow and myriad. So another target bird or spirit you control gains shadow and myriad. I have no idea how good or bad this is, but I hope it's fine. Because outside of this, it's going to multiply the creatures. So I think it's fine. I think it's fine. It's pretty mana intensive to get that second ability off. The elf dwarf is some TES lore stuff. Oh yeah. Okay, next up. Let's take a look at... Let's get a $1 one out there. Let's get one from... Corbinek. Corbinek might wait for forever for the cards. You know what? Let's get it out of the way right now. Only one card today. Crow Bad Luck Charm. It's literally... Is this supposed to be Crow? Okay, this is a black-green legendary human hunter. It's a 6/6? Have we lost our minds? Okay, Vigilance. During the end of each combat step, roll a d20. 1 to 6. This card deals damage equal to its dice roll to its controller. Okay, 7, draw a card. 8 to 12, discard a land card or lose 5 life if you can't. 13, exile a creature you own. If this card is exiled this way, you lose the game.
No, God, please, no.
14 to 19, reveal your hand to your opponents. 20, this card gains protection from everything until your next end step. I think overall there's just not enough downside to a 2-mana 6/6 with Vigilance, so F this card. It's like, it's way too strong. It's way too strong. It's funny, you can exile. The only downside is this 13, basically. There's like too many upsides. All of these die rolls should be downsides in some capacity. All of them. Every single one. What a 1 out of 10 chance for a good effect. Well, I mean, okay, there's like draw a card, discard a land card or lose 5 life. Discarding a land card may not be that bad depending on your deck. Reveal your hand to your opponents, which is nothing really. It's like, it's very little, and this card gets protection. I think, frankly, it's like 1/3 doesn't really do enough. 1 to 6 is a downside. 1 to 6 is a downside. I don't think it's punishing enough, though. It's very aggressive on the attack. And you know what? It's commander. You have like 40 life. Oh, also in one-on-one magic, probably insanely dangerous. A 20 should be good. Yeah, maybe 1 out of 20 times you get something good out of this card. Okay, let's look at the first half of the damn draws. Apes and Monkeys Redo Part 2. You have to redo it? Why do you redo it? Okay, so we're gonna look at the first half because you have 10-ish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, you have 10. We'll look at the first 5 here. Okay, Apes Together Strong. 5 mana, Kindred Enchantment, Ape, Monkey. Apes and monkeys you control get Forest Walk, which is they should have Forest Walk. They know forest better than anybody. They were born in the forests. They didn't see the light of day until they saw the top of the trees, which was probably immediately. Okay, they get Forest Walk. Non-legendary apes you control get Myriad, and non-legendary monkeys you control get Scavenge. This seems insane. I like it. Okay, yeah, return to Monk. Oh, you rebalance the card. This card is pretty powerful, but it's 5 mana. You have to play monkeys. Adopt any enemy tactics for 2 mana. It's a monkey ape enchantment again. Quadruple black. Tap. Monkeys you control gain Shroud and Death Touch until end of turn. Quadruple green and tap. Apes you control gain First Strike and Flanking until end of turn. The price is right. That's all I'm going to say. It's monkey with a chainsaw. The chainsaw orangutan. Sounds like you could make a movie out of this. One day, this monkey found a chainsaw on the ground. And before you know it, was taking over the forest. Had the power to cut down trees. Had the power to cut other monk. It is a 4 mana 3/4 ape rebel. With primal is for 6 mana. You can cast this spell by paying its primal cost. If you do, add the words in square brackets. Otherwise, remove the words in square brackets. Chainsaw Orangutan gets Battle Cry and First Strike if it has an equipment attached to it. Equip costs 1 less to equip to Chainsaw Orangutan and other monkeys and apes you control. Chainsaw Orangutan must be blocked by each creature defending player controls if able. So otherwise it's like... Oh, so we're paying to remove the ability. Chainsaw Orangutan must be blocked by... must be blocked if able? Huh? You may cast this card by paying its primal cost if you do add the words in the square brackets. Otherwise remove the words. Chainsaw must be blocked by each creature defending player. Oh, I see. So they could choose to block with one or block with all of them. Do I think some artists hired by Wizards of the Coast use AI? I have no idea. I know some artists use art from other cards. They've been caught red-handed doing that multiple times. Okay, it's a lot of words. Well, it's 4 mana though. No, but you need to play the primal cost. Well, the primal cost is... Honestly, I think the primal cost is expensive. If it was like 4 mana, I think that would be fine. Maybe even 3 mana is fine. A 7-mana card that did all these things, I think, is okay. Okay, the Flag Bearer Marmoset. This is a green 1/1 monk ally with enlist. When Flag Bearer Marmoset dies, monkeys and apes on your battlefield gain savage. Savage creatures get +1/+1 during combat phases and must attack and block if able. What is enlist? I don't remember what that is. That's interesting. So if it dies, everyone else gets stronger in anger. I don't know what enlist is, but outside of that, I think the card is okay. I also like the idea that the baby monkey dies, and then everyone says like, okay, that's it. It's time for revenge. Who killed the baby monkey? We're gonna get him. We're gonna avenge you, little monkey. Okay, gorilla. Sorry. Oh, it's. I thought I was mispronouncing this. It is in fact gorilla. 4 mana for a 4/4. You hear that, gorilla? Anyone get that joke? Maybe only people in English. Okay, flash dash for 3 mana. Ninjutsu. Why is it a ninja? Ninjutsu for 3 mana and prowl for 3 mana. So effectively, it's just coming out of nowhere in 3 different ways. When gorilla enters and its dash cost was paid, tap target creature you don't control. That's strong. When gorilla enters and its ninjutsu cost was paid, target player mills 2 cards. That's fine. When if its prowl cost is paid, create 2 bomb tokens. During each end phase, you may return gorilla to your hand. During each so you can bring it back. Okay. Only during the end phase, though. You just can't randomly put it back into your hand. Guerrilla Tactics fits ninjutsu, I think. It's very off flavor. Yeah, I don't know. Did anyone see any gorillas in Kamigawa? I didn't. I don't remember. They used to show what bomb tokens did. Ninjutsu is a demir mechanic. Absolutely. Very, very strange. Well, I mean, it was printed in black as black 1 generic. So I mean, like, there are ninjas that only ninjutsu for blue, right? So this gorilla can ninjutsu for black, so it's still on flavor. All right, next super chat. Let's take a look at the infamous. Do it right before we get to the infamous Majra. Let's go look at Morgan Vermis's The Masked Mutant. This is a very wordy card. I do say so myself. This is Sultai 2 generic for a 3/7 mutant villain. It's got a companion. Your starting deck contains only permanent cards. Okay. Menace, Death Touch. So basically, hold on. To only permanent cards, we have no instants, no sorceries. I think that's the only sacrifice. Menace and Death Touch. At the start of your pre-combat main phase or whatever, or whenever the masked mutant deals combat damage to a player. What? So we do this twice? Look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tapped. When you do, you lose 2 life. If it's a non-land permanent card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. When you don't, put it into your graveyard. So at the start of your pre-combat main phase, we get to potentially put a land onto the battlefield, and when the masked mutant deals combat damage to a player. So no matter what, we're drawing cards every turn, effectively. 100%. When you do lose to life, it's a non-land permanent, you may reveal the card and put it into your hand for nothing? Absolutely nothing. I think at the very least, you need to look up the bracket. That's a lot of words. But anyway, okay, I think you're drawing too many cards. And also, I think you should say if you want to put in your hand, you lose 2 life. That would balance it out better. Either, like, you can only draw 1 card per turn, so, like, maybe you only get this card ability when you deal damage to the opponent. Because no matter what, you're, like, definitely getting this value, 100%. Menace and Death Touch. And it shouldn't be too hard to connect with the opponent, because you have Menace. No one, like, wants to block this thing. You also have Death Touch. Oh, the Duke Nukem card? Is this Duke Nukem? This is Batman. It's a mutant villain, apparently. I don't know why Batman is on here. A lot of those whens should be ifs. How I become an outlaw overnight. Yeah. The masked mutant. Oh, wait, Batman wasn't even a mutant. The flavor is totally off here. Yeah, why is this trigger on the pre-combat phase? Okay, get rid of that, and I think this card would be fine. Otherwise, I think it's a little pushed. You get like 2 draws out of this. Nikachu, I need to jet in like 50 minutes. Can you knock off my super chat? Not a problem, Toads. You're such a regular around here. Where's your super chat? Here you go. Okay, let's take a look at Toads. Subliminal Scrawl. Subliminal Scrawl. Did I spell that? Subliminal? Oh, I think it's just 1 L. Okay. Oh, I didn't spell scrawl properly. I'm not spelling anything. Okay, we found it. It's Scribbles. It's for X. It's an enchant permanent called Subliminal Scrawl. Exile target permanent with CMC X that Subliminal Scrawl is enchanting. So we actually have to enchant the permanent first. It has to resolve. So we can hit 1 mana cards. We can hit 2. Isn't this just Prismatic Ending? Enchant target this is literally Prismatic Ending, but for like colorless, which just makes it strictly better. You're giving Prismatic Ending to any deck. To blue, to black, to green, to red. Figure out the artwork. Is it lips? Is this like one of those Rorschach things? It looks like there's a nose. I see a nose. I see some lips on one side. On the other side, I see... Actually, I sort of see a nose and another set of lips. It's 2 face. I see 2 faces. It also removes lands. Oh my god! Yeah, you're right. 0 mana Stone Rain. That it danger Toads. Whoops, it's the wrong. Oh, we can't have this thing. Oh, is it a kiss? So it's like 2 faces that like went into each other. It's like 2 spirits that are trying to kiss. It has a wording like a sorcery and doesn't have enchant permanent, and it is. Oh well, I have no idea. Is it supposed to be like is there some sort of flavor win here? The Subliminal Scrawl. Subliminal Scrawl. It's 2 faces. Damn typo. Subliminal Scrawl. There's some deep meaning here that I'm just completely missing. I'm gonna have to see it some other time. Anyway, power level of the card, 2 busted. Completely busted. Kisses are banned in MTG. That's right! Kissing is banned in MTG. The Subliminal Scrawl. Is that supposed to be what it's supposed to be? Kissing is banned in MTG, and so is the wording here. Or so is this card. Okay, next up, we have to get to undisputedly one of the champions of Coffee and MTG custom cards. We got Majra here. That's right. Give a round of applause for Majra. We have part 3 of the Sapta Sagara. Am I pronouncing that right off the bat? Sapta Sagara. Sapta Sagara. Yeah, I did get it right. I had enough practice last time. Oh, part 3. We need part 3. Part 3, baby. Don't worry. We'll do your custom cards justice. Okay, starting with Near Master Void Singer. Ooh, I like casting costs that are heavy on mana. It's a blue, green, black. 6/6 Siren Warlock Advisor. It's got Vigilance. It's got Undying. Wow, you can't even kill it properly. It's got Trample. Whenever you turn a permanent face up, tap or untap target permanent. And also for Sultai, tap, sacrifice 2 artifacts, counter target spell, or destroy target non-artifact, non-land permanent unless its controller sacrifices 2 non-land permanents. That's actually super balanced. Because even if you try to destroy something, counter target, what is it, target spell? You still have to sacrifice a lot. You gotta sacrifice 2 artifacts, but you also give your opponent to sacrifice something themselves in order to counter your ability to counter your counter ability. So I like that card. And also the price is right at 6 mana at 3 colors. Okay, Saptasagarian Goofballs. This is a 3 mana 3/3 Siren Scout Wizard. It's got Ward 2. The Saptasagarian Goofballs gets +1/+0 for each face down permanent you control. Okay, interesting. You know what? It's really funny me reading these cards because my buddy that I play Commander with has a morph deck. I can't remember what the morph commander is. It's the one where you can play a morph for free and draw a card. So I get to look at these cards in a different light. And the deck is like semi-boring in the sense that it's just it's just morph, draw card, but this like gives the deck a different angle. Okay, if a snare being turned face up for the first time each turn causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Ooh. This one could be like really, really strong. Because I know the snares are enchantments that have like abilities attached to them. Okay, so this one might be really strong, especially since it's only 3 mana. So you go 3 mana into this thing, which is pretty big. It could be pretty big by itself. Oh yeah, the snares are like morphs that when they turn face up, they do something. Okay, I'm going to get back to that one. I'm going to get back to them. I got to remember how good or bad the snares are. Just the 2 of us for 4 mana, instant, up to 2 target creatures phase out. If you target a creature and a creature you don't control, draw 2 cards. I like that. Okay, Lost Love's Lament. It's a 4 mana snare. See, that curves so easily from this into this. Okay, but it is a snare for 2 mana. When Lost Love's Lament enters or is turned face up, draw a card for each non-token artifact you control, then sacrifice Lost Love's Snare. Okay, so when it enters or turned face up, draw a card for each non-token artifact you control. Which includes it's going to draw at least 1. Then this one would double it. And then you could blink this thing. Okay, Nir's Hint for 3 mana. It's a Kindred instant. Shuffle target non-land permanent into its owner's library. Then for each player, choose friend or foe. For each friend, investigate. Then put a land from their hand onto the battlefield. Each foe loses life equal to the target's mana value. Okay, so going back to this card, I think if you got rid of like the +1/+0 ability and the Ward 2, and just had like, hey, we're gonna double the triggers on these snares, that would be fine. Otherwise, I think this is a bit pushed. Smidge pushed. Is that more kissing I see? Is there kissing around here? No, 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 it's close. They almost lips being touched, but it's not touching. It's not touching. By the way, kissing is allowed on this channel. I don't know what's up with wizards. So if anyone doesn't know what's going on, there was one show where I told everyone, like, there's no kissing on the art on any Magic the Gathering card. I investigated it. I don't know why. I was looking for an image of, like, people kissing, and I couldn't find anything. And then I just found out, well, it just doesn't exist. And then everyone else sort of came to the realize, oh, wow, you're right, Nikachu. It just doesn't exist. There's something wrong with kissing. No, you didn't find any. It's got to be kissing on the lips with a real human flesh person. Everything else is like really, really close, or they're kissing a stone statue, which most definitely doesn't count. Yeah, they've got a couple that's holding and stuff. They're staring deep into their eyes, but it don't count, okay? There's no kissing on lips in this multiverse. Gabrielle Doyen, thank you very much for your super chat. Nikachu Hopewell as well. The card is Shatter of Faith. Shatterer of Faith. A rather simple and flavorful card to cover a niche Eldrazi didn't really have. Okay, let's take a look at this one. For all the Eldrazi fans out here. 7 mana, 5/5 Eldrazi. Feels like a dragon. Very sweet art, though. It's like a dragon Eldrazi. When you cast this spell, target opponent loses life equal to their combined devotion to each color. Oh! Punishing people to be on the same color. That's an absolute beating. I cannot imagine playing against this. It's got Menace and Evoke for 3 mana. Oh my god. Cast a spell, target opponent loses life. I actually think it danger. That's too much. Basically, 3 mana, like, probably deals, like, 5 or more damage to a singular player. It's like 5 or better. And easily, like, you know, you could go into the late game, someone has, like, you know, 30 devotion on the battlefield, and then boom. Well, Painter Servant doesn't work, because it only is, it only counts the devotion. Devotion will only count the mana symbols, not the actual color of the permanent. So, okay, first off, okay, I'll tell you how you can make this playable, because it's still a cool idea. It needs to be 12 mana, and it can't have Evoke. And then everything else is fine by me. Like, 7 mana is, like, just pretty easy to cast. So at 12, maybe it makes a little bit more sense. You think this is fair? I think this is insane. I think this is absolutely insane. They're just trying to keep protein discharges off their cards. So the furthest they went was Earthbind. And then give it Annihilator a colored permanent. They probably should do that. Annihilator colored permanent sounds like interesting. It does feel like Endangered These. It should only be 1 color of that player's choice. Target opponent equal to their combined devotion to each color. Even if it's 1 color, like even if you hit them for green, I can just see someone losing so much life off of this card. Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this only hard punishes monocolor decks, and it's like fine-ish. Oh, no, it does. It hits everything, right? Their combined devotion to each color. So it's like, oh yeah, so it's like if you have like a lot of pips on the battlefield, you're just gonna get blasted. You can also scam it. Like, what really bothers me is this Evoke above everything else. Okay, it needs to be 1 color. This needs to be 10 mana, no Evoke, and I can get behind it. Otherwise, a bit too strong. Like, way too strong. Yeah, combined devotion to each color is way too strong. It should be devotion to a single color. Or, I don't know, if it's all colors, make it an Emrakul. Make it 15 mana or something like that. A bit too strong, in my opinion. Okay, let's get to Benovsky. Benovsky hasn't had a super chat yet. Paladins, Furia, and Rom. Working on a series of cards based on the Paladins. Paladins, Furia, and Rom. This is... I can't tell this currency. I believe this is just two. Oh, what is this? What's going on here? Okay, Furia. Okay, I'll look at Furia, and you have a ROM card. Okay, I will look at these 2. Furia, Angel of Vengeance. This is a 3 mana 3/3 angel, flying vigilance and haste. Tap, regenerate target creature. You may put a wrath counter on Furia, Angel of Vengeance. Remove X wrath counters from Furia, Angel of Vengeance. It deals X damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Frankly, I don't even think this is pushed enough. Oh, it's got vigilance. Oh, maybe it's pushed fine. Because you get to attack, and then you can tap to regenerate target creature. This is a very pushed card. Very pushed. Very interesting, though. Okay, and then we've got Rom, Rage of the Abyss. It's a 4 mana 2/5 Abyssal Lord. Rom can block an additional creature for each 2 soul counters on it each combat. Whenever Rom, Rage of the Abyss, deals combat damage, we get to put a soul counter on each 1 damage on it for each 1 damage dealt. So if we deal 2, we get 2 soul counters. Remove all soul counters from Rom, Rage of the Abyss. It gains +0/+1 until end of turn for each soul counter removed this way. Why would we want to remove it? So it can block an additional creature for each soul counter, for each 2 soul counters. It feels like we should just accumulate soul counters. That's to our benefit. So it's like a really good blocker here. So we get the soul counters, we can block extra stuff, then we can remove the soul counter, make it bigger butt. Rom likes to exercise the big booty. Big booty Rom. So I would already know it was coming because I would have lost to that guy before already or something. Oh, don't. You're talking about the 3/3. So the 3/3 for 3, that flying vigilance haste pushed enough. Well, it's balanced out by Rom. Like, Rom seems like a pretty okay card. I think this is interesting. Very, very strong. Probably worthy of being mythic instead of colorless. Oh, sorry, instead of common. What are these other cards? Sorry, you got donation for 2 of these. Okay, next up. Actually, I can't tell. Hold on, what is a green worth? Yeah, greens are like $5. What's a 10 worth? Okay, I think I see a 10. Okay. Next up, let's take a look at who has nothing. Oh, Brawly Shadow. Let's get a Brawly Shadow card. This is Sun Wukong. It was mine in the freebies. So, I'm going to donate to the freebies since it was my only card today. All right. The Sun Wukong. What was yours? Sun Wukong? Oh, that was it. Well, we just got to it. You're lucky. You're lucky, Brawly Shadow. All right. So, let's go to the freebie section. Oh, shoot. Which freebie section? In the Discord or here? I don't remember. I didn't catch that. I already deleted the super chat. Okay, I will. Okay, we'll give one here, and we'll give 2. How about that? Okay, Brawly says Reddit. Reddit gives to Brawly Shadow, so Brawly Shadow gonna give back to Reddit. Crane with a magnet on it. It's an 8-mana artifact. 4 mana tap. Return all spells to their controller's hands. Weird. Isn't that just like a perpetual counterspell? We return all spell to their owner's hands. This is 8. Well, it is expensive though. Now I can erase all those embarrassing messages, and then I can start leaving new ones. Says Dr. Doofenshmirtz. You know, I think it's a pretty goofy card, but I like it. It's really expensive. Yoshi was like, no! It's pretty easy to overload though. So like one person will play something, and it just returns it back to your hand. It's not like all outright counter. So you can reprint at the same time. Everything. Well, it's every. Okay, how big can the stack be? Tell me. This. I don't think return all spells to their own hands is gonna work all that well. Like if you see Crane with a magnet on the battlefield, like who's gonna have a big stack? All right, I'm gonna cast this card. All right, in response I'm gonna cast this card. In response I'm gonna have this card. I'm gonna cast a spell with this and this. Oh, Crane with a magnet on it just bounced everything back to our hands. You know, like no one's gonna play into that. They're gonna wait for cards to resolve and then respond in kind, or they're gonna make their plays knowing Crane with a magnet on it is on the battlefield. I wouldn't say it's a worse Venser. This is a perpetual Venser, but like you can only do it once per rotation. Doesn't say owner. It says controller. So if a spell changes control in the stack, it goes to someone else's hand. Okay, probably we should reword this a little bit, huh? We should reword this in a little way. But anyway, I mean, I think there's a rule in Magic where if a card would go to somebody's hand and it's not its owner, it goes to its owner's hand instead. So they've got that one rule that would trump this. Too many ways to cheat out artifacts and reduce activated ability costs. You're only gonna nail one card. It's not a counter spell. Wait, it counters Storm? There you go. You happy about that? You found something that counters Storm. Return all the copies. Actually, is a copy a spell? Maybe it's not. Or maybe it is a spell. Just not cast. It's just a copy. Yeah, don't forget to like the stream. Okay, next. Okay, what do we got? We have some big super chatters down here. We got Islarf. Thank you so much for your super chat. More Cloudians. If you remember from 2 weeks ago, I showed a few of them. Note, most basic Cloudians enter with 2 frog counters. Okay, remember, most basic Cloudians enter with 2 frog counters. Let's see if that's relevant. This is 3 mana for a 1/1 Cloudian. Protection from combat damage. Whenever this one's called Cirostratus. And when Cirostratus blocks a creature, sacrifice it. You get one. It's like you are a cloud. Poof, you're gone. When Cirostratus enters, put a frog counter on it for each Cloudian creature card on the battlefield. Then for Dimir, remove 2 fog counters from Cirostratus. Destroy target creature. What? Put a fog counter. So it's not frog. It's a fog counter on it for each Cloudian creature card on the battlefield. Interesting. Oh, is this like, is today the Yu-Gi-Oh day? This is our range of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Is this would a duelist play these cards? Okay, I can't, this is like a card I have to play with to find out if it's broken, but I assume that it's okay. Like, it's basically I sort of look at this as some sort of weird fog bank that can randomly destroy creatures. Okay, Nimbus Man, the 5-mana 2/2. As Nimbus Man, it's a Cloudian Fairy. As Nimbus Man enters, sacrifice any number of creatures. It enters with a fog counter for each creature sacrificed this way. That's a heavy cost. When Nimbus Man blocks a creature, sacrifice it. And when Nimbus Man gets +1/+0 for each fog counter among permanents on the battlefield. Easy, easy pass. Nothing broken there. In fact, I think it's bad. Summon Cloud, 3-mana enchantment. Once during each of your turns, if you control no creatures, you may cast a Cloudian creature card from your hand or among cards in all graveyards without paying its mana cost. That is a very Yu-Gi-Oh thing to do. If a spell is cast from a graveyard this way, sacrifice, summon Cloudian. Again, like this. Well, I mean, this might be a show and tell. It might be a show and tell if there is a broken Cloudian out there. If they're all docile creatures, then I don't see it being a problem. The Cloud Generator. Oh, these are literally clouds being made into creatures. This looks like Howl's Moving Castle. Just the miniature form. This is Howl's Moving Cottage and Windmill. 3-mana artifact. Remove 2 fog counters from among permanents you control. Create a 0/1 Cloudian creature token with flying. And then, oh, I should give that easy pass. And lastly, we've got the Storm Dragon. It is 3 mana for a 2/1 Cloudian Fairy. You may exile a Cloudian creature card from your graveyard rather than pay the mana cost for this spell. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to Storm Dragon. Whenever Storm Dragon blocks a creature, sacrifice it. Very similar amongst all the Cloudians. And a Dimir, put a fog counter on target creature. Activate this ability only once each turn and only any time you could cast a sorcery. So you're going to exile a Cloudian to get this in play for free, prevent all damage. They all have very similar abilities. It's got a theme. It's got, you know, it's got a very strong theme and flavor to it, Obaka. It's got that for it. It's fine, pretty underpowered compared to what Wizards is printing these days. Hey, be careful. Like, all these cards can be played for free. So there might be some way somewhere deep in the future to break this thing. Last deck I played in Yu-Gi-Oh was Yu-Gi-Oh Paper was Light Swarm Zombies before they banned Mezuki. Everything is a dredge deck in Yu-Gi-Oh. Everything is a dredge deck. Okay, next up we got the 4 Paths of Life Beyond the Eternities. Oh, Part 8. The 3rd essence plus the book. Beyond the Eternities. Yeah, here we go. Beyond the book. Okay, Embodied Seer. This is a sort of an Eldrazi looking mana cost. It's 2 mana for a 2/2 Elf Spirit with Devoid and Color Void. Oh yes, I remember you got that. You like to play around with Devoid and Color Void. What was Color Void again? So Devoid is, this card is colorless. Oh, I think the Color Void is like, it's all colors at the same time, if I remember correctly. Okay, we'll probably get an answer to this a little bit later. Pay 1, tap, destroy target colored enchantment or artifact. If you do, add a colorless. And then attacking creatures with Devoid. Get +1/+1 until end of turn for each enchantment and artifact on the battlefield that are colorless or have Devoid. Alright. Hopefully that's not broken. Warping Plains for quadruple colorless 2 generic. It's a sorcery. Each player shuffles all lands they own into their libraries. Oh god. Then for each card shuffled into the library this way, each player exiles cards on the top of their library until they exile a basic land. Then each player places all basic lands exiled this way onto the battlefield and places all other cards exiled this way on the bottom of their library in a random order. Has flashback for triple colorless. Now when I look at these tiny flashbacks, you know, like, it's this. What is this? Basically, some sort of version of I can't remember. What is the fixed time twister? It was like 6 mana. Okay, Color Void. What's Color Void? 4 pass of life. Pay 1, exile, put a counter on it for the paid mana color or the color you spent to cast it. We don't have an explanation for Color Void. Imagining not having basics. Yeah, that would be a problem. Each player shuffles all lands they own into the library. Then for each card shuffled in this way, each player exiles cards from the top of the library until they exile a basic land. Then each player places all basic lands exiled this way onto the battlefield and place. So I guess the idea, shouldn't it be worded until you exile that many basic lands? Because of the way you're wording it, you like can only find 1 basic land. So this is like a 6 mana Armageddon or something, which I guess is okay. Is that what it is? It's like, oh, I guess it's like Armageddon. I guess that's what it is. Then each player places all basic lands exiled this way. Or maybe they only find 1 land. Okay, I don't know how to interpret this, but I don't like the flashback for 3 mana added to make it 1. Sorry, not make it 1. Make it 1 more, make it 4 mana. Flashback, cast from graveyard for cost, then exile. No, I understand that. Okay, next up. The Lost Records. 3 mana, legendary artifact. Colorless spells cost colorless less for you to cast. Then pay 1, tap, search your library for an essence, a spirit with the void, or a basic land. Add it to your hand, then shuffle your library. Isn't that like, just like, that's basically some sort of weird ancestral recall, but it costs 4 mana. If the Lost Records is exiled, it is plotted. That is so weird, and you can escape it for a colorless as well. What is going on here? I feel like this card is doing a lot, but I can't say it's broken. To me or my reader, the logs and observations contained herein are the fruits of my greater than selfish endeavor beyond the known limits of the blind eternities. This is like one of those cards that could end up being like, what's plotted? Plotted is when you cast the card in exile and then you can play it on your turn for free for nothing. So if it's exiled, it gets plotted so you can replay it next turn. Yeah, all opponents would be essentially restarting with only 1 basic land out unless they have no basics, which they start with 0. Yeah, that's the way I'm interpreting this, which is like fine. Flashback has to be a little bit more. Or maybe no. Do you know what? You're right. I think you're 100% right actually. It's like even if it was a 3 mana Armageddon, maybe it's fair because it's wiping everything out except 1 basic land just to get back to the warping planes. Okay, Essence of Freedom and Zeal. This is quadruple red or quadruple colorless. It's an essence card, which you can tutor for with the Lost Records. Devoid, the controller of Essence of Freedom and Zeal gains the red essence emblem if that player doesn't already have it. This ability can't be lost, countered, replaced, or modified. Oh yes, I love those abilities. Non-land, non-token permanents you control and cards you own in your hand, graveyard, and exile have Tincture red. You may spend colorless as red for this card's mana cost to cast or activate its abilities. I don't understand why you'd need to do that. Sorry. Non-land, non-token permanents you control and cards you own in your hand have Tincture. So you can like swap the casts of the cards that you have in your hand. Just looking around if we have an answer to what... I can't remember what Color Void was. I just don't remember what that meant. And we got the red essence. It is an emblem. Yeah, let's take a look at this. It's a hell of an emblem. Or wasn't this on the last show? It's like, remove this emblem if you do not control Essence of Freedom and Zeal. Non-land, non-token perms you control and cards you own in the hand or graveyard are red in addition to their other colors. You gain the following abilities based on the number of red cards you own in exile. +1, red perms you control have protection from opponent's red. Red creatures you control have myriad. Red perms you control have hexproof from white and blue. Red creatures you control have haste and first strike. And also at plus, I can't remember, with the plus, you gain the following abilities based on the number of red cards you own in exile. So you have 1 red card, 2 red cards, and we have 3 red cards in exile. Non-token red cards you own anywhere have protection from opponent's white and opponent's blue. Red creature cards in your hand have Blitz 2. And if you have 4 cards in exile, red cards you own have Convoke. Red permanents you control have tap, add red to this card's mana value. I wish it had like only 3 abilities, so it'd be just easier on the brain. Otherwise, it feels like it does way too much. But it feels, but I think it's fine. Okay, fine. We got an answer to Color Void. Pay 1, exile the card. Put a counter of the paid mana color. Oh, you did answer this. I couldn't understand. How is that easy to understand? Okay, pay 1, exile the card. Put a counter of the paid mana's color on the exiled card, or a counter of any color if you spend colorless mana. Pay 1. Oh yeah, we exiled this card. Put a counter of the paid mana's color on the exiled card. What does that mean? Or a counter of any color if you spend colorless mana. Instructions unclear. Okay, I give your set more or less great. I think it actually is. And in the end, I like this Warping Plains card. I think it's very cool. See you later, Obake. See you next time. I think this is actually the most banger card of this series that you have here. It's a very unique, like, Armageddon, but, like, it's a soft Armageddon. Because, hey, we're not going to end up with nothing. You're going to have something. You get at least 1 land out of the deal. Okay, next up. Who's next up? Let's get one from Rob. How about that, Rob? Jaded here. Huh? Okay, alchemists tried to craft ancestral. Wait, alchemists. Are you under a different account or something, Jaded? Okay, alchemists tried to craft ancestral. Recall. Okay, we got a question mark. It's Reminiscence Congregation. It is an instant. It's got no... What is this? Like, it's got, like, some suspicious mana cost. The spell cannot be cast unless the Petrify 1 ingredient of Snapcaster Mage, Lotus Petal, and Brainstorm from either your side of the field or your graveyard. They cannot be used for the rest of the game and are not in any game zone. This tomb becomes a blue instant named Ancestral Recall with mana value 1, and target player draws 3 cards. So wait, hold on. So we have to like assemble a puzzle here or something? Okay, this can't be cast unless you petrify 1 ingredient of Snapcaster Mage, Lotus Petal, and Brainstorm from either your side of the field or your graveyard. What does that mean? So you cannot... They cannot be used for the rest of the game and are not in any game zone. It's like they're outside the out of the game zone. They're beyond the exile zone. They're in the completely freaking forever zone. Harris is like, what does this card exactly do? I think it's like some sort of, if you have Snapcaster, I don't know. Do they all have to be in the grave? So it's like a combination of them like being in the graveyard and on the battlefield. I think you like just wipe them out and then you get the Reminiscence Congregation in your hand or something. Yeah, it's a crafting game. Hey, we craft on Arena, all right? Or do we craft on Arena? We do craft on Arena. We do. This is a crafting game, just like Hearthstone. Guess where we got that idea from? It wasn't us. We weren't the first one to come up with it. Put it into the absolutely removed from the freaking game forever zone, and then you get an Ancestral Recall. Okay, it is so hard to get this Ancestral Recall that is absolutely a pass. 1,000,000%. So exile from grave... Not exile! They're beyond the exile zone from the graveyard and get a free recall. That's fun. The beyond exile. We're not even exiling the cards here. Alright, next up. Okay, let's take a look at the Dam's second half of this thing. Apes and Monkeys Redo Part 2. So the second half, 5. Alright, we got some sort of machine gunning napalm chimp. This is a... I have a feeling this is like a joke, but I'm not getting it. Napalm? Is it napalm? Isn't that like an explosive? Maybe it's also a flamethrower. Okay, we got a green, black, 2/2, 8 mercenary. It's got primal for 4 mana. Pay 1, tap, put a napalm counter on 2 target creatures you don't control. Spreading fire! When napalm chimp attacks, it deals damage to each defending creature. Deals damage to each defending creature equal to the number of napalm counters on it. Okay, next we got the Magnum Ape. This guy's big. And also probably beating their chest a bunch. Okay, 6 mana for a 5/5 ape berserker. It's got primal for 8 mana, haste, rampage 1, menace, and bloodthirst 2. It's like it does everything. Pay 3 mana, magnum gorilla, gains trample and melee until end of turn. Is this like doing too much? Is this like a Fable the Mirror Breaker type of card? Like, it looks clunky, but maybe it's just completely crazy. Like, it like enters the battlefield, it already goes nuts. Napalm is an incendiary. It burns for a while instead of exploding all at once. That's actually a lot worse in some ways. So you just die slowly. Eris is like, it's fine. All right, Eris said it's fine. That's good enough for me, everyone. Eris said so. Oh, sorry, Eric. No, Eris. Eris said so. Okay, we have 6 mana, 5/6 ape warrior. It's got primal for... What is primal? Hold on. I think there's one card that explained primal. All of a sudden, I forgot what primal is. If you cast this spell for paying its primal cost, if you do, add the words in... Oh, yeah, that's the one. We add the words in the square brackets. Hold on. It's adding, right? Add the words in square brackets, otherwise remove it. Okay. Yeah. And then this one is, so if we pay like a bazillion mana, it gets menace and bloodthirst as well. I don't remember what melee is. Basically, the completely all-out ape. Okay, back to this one. It's got primal for 8 mana. When Cruel Resistance Leader enters, deals damage to each target creature you don't control equal to his power. Monkeys and apes you control have banding and haste. That is insane. Okay, a banding by itself is pretty insane. This is a very strong banding card. Inspire Uprising. When Cruel Resistance Leader destroys a creature or planeswalker, create a green 2/2 monkey creature token. And then in brackets, and a green 3/3 ape creature token. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I can see it's the opposite of cleave. This actually could be very dangerous. Like, I know it's 6 mana, but basically it's like 6 mana, make all your stuff unblockable. But maybe we have enough effects like that. Okay. It's like, okay, like no one's gonna want to block with their banding. Like if you have banding, you're just gonna make them lose in combat all over the place. Give me a second, I gotta prepare some more music for everybody. Because this is gonna be a long one today, I think. I think it's gonna be a long one. Hope everyone's ready for a long show. Okay, we got new apex species. Some humans in there as well. It's actually funny. Okay, some of these monkeys in the background look like they're charging. Some of the monkeys look like they're running away with the human beings. Like, oh my god, what have we done? What have we created? 4 mana. Instant. Apes and monkeys you control get trample and +2/+2 until end of turn. Non-apes and non-monkeys get -1/-1. Okay, that's pretty cool. It's could be like a massive removal spell though. The Apocalypse. Oh, we got a little bit of a funny joke in there, didn't we? Okay, 6 mana, legendary instant. Destroy all non-ape and non-monkey creatures. Oh my god. Destroy up to X target non-land permanents where X is the amount of creatures destroyed by the Apocalypse. This is insane. How many one-sided board wipes are there in the game? Destroy all non-ape and non-monkey creatures. Has no effect on changelings. I'll give it that. No effect on changelings. And then afterwards, you still blow... obviously, they're going to lose 1 million creatures and you're going to blow up the rest of their non-land permanents. It's like It's worse than Cyclonic Rift, isn't it? Because this is just gonna, it's just a one-sided, cheaper Cyclonic Rift. Corbinik is like, this seems like some monkey business. You know what? And it's instant. What does that mean that it's a legendary instant? We need a legendary creature on the battlefield? Needs a legend too? That's not hard. That is broken. It danger. I think it danger big time. This card is absolutely bonkers. See, at least Cyclonic Rift bounced all this stuff to your hand. You could replay it later. Here, it's just gone. You're gonna lose all your creatures. You're probably gonna lose the rest of your stuff too. And I don't think the fact that it's a legendary thing. So higher cost, 8 mana. I think maybe 8 mana will do it. 6 is definitely not enough. Like, it's cheaper than Cyclonic Rift Overload. That's the only way I can see it here. Okay. Other than that, I like the flavor of the entire series. I think it was an absolute banger. All right, next up, let's take a look at. Get one from Elixir again. Attack of the Undead. Thank you very so much, Elixir. You like them zombies, don't you, Elixir? You're a zombie person. Okay, it's green-black X, sorcery. Create X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens with Decayed. Those creatures fight. They want to get a... They just came back to life, sort of, and they already want to start fighting. They fight target creature an opponent controls. How does that work? Like, they all unanimously fight the creature, and doesn't the creature fight back? Isn't this just like a weird removal spell? How does that work? If, like, 5... Let's say we have X as 5, and I put 5 2/2s on the battlefield, and I have them all fight simultaneously something else. Does that something else also simultaneously fight all the 2/2s individually? Or, like... Does a 3/3 only kill off one zombie and deal 1 damage to one other zombie? No matter what the answer is, this is an easy pass. You know, it's a good zombie generator in general. Yeah, it's a weird removal spell that leaves you with tokens if done right. I don't know. Like, I don't know how fighting simultaneously with a bunch of other creatures works, if that happens at all. Yeah, fights usually mean they both deal damage each other. They don't they? I mean, usually. That creature will get to deal damage to each zombie before state-based actions. All right, so, like, effectively, we might end up just killing all our creatures. We'll like, the 2/2 can only survive beating up a 1/1. So it's just like a weird removal spell. Do we have to fight something? I mean, we could pick a fight with like a 0/1 on the board if we want to keep the 2/2s. Then those creatures fight target creature and opponent controls. It's a good thing it says target opponent. Otherwise, we could end up making like a bunch of 2/2s, and we'd be forced to fight one of our own 2/2s, and they all die simultaneously. That would be funny. Yeah, fight does damage to each other. Otherwise, it would say it deals damage equal to its power. Okay, I think it's cool. Okay, Majra, what's the second half of this thing? Part 4 of the Sapta Sagara. Remember that you need to cast Snare face down as an artifact for 2 generic. Yes, it's like Morph, except it's not 3 mana. Sapta Sagara. All right, this is a blue, blue, green, green, black, black X. Oh, what is this? Like an ultimatum? Ultimatums have shown up. The Dreams Maelstrom. It's a snare. What is... Oh, and the snare cost is blue, green, black, 1 generic, and X. When Dreams Maelstrom enters the battlefield or is turned face up, choose up to 1 siren. Put -1/-1 counters on each creature not chosen this way until end of turn. Whenever a creature with a -1/-1 counter on it dies, exile the top card of each opponent's library. You may cast those cards as long as they remained exiled. Then the mana of any type may be spent to cast them. Then sacrifice Dreams Maelstrom. I have no idea what this card does. That's a lot of words. Okay, it ETBs or is turned face up. Choose up to 1 siren. Put a -1/-1 counter counters on each creature not chosen this way, so everyone else gets a -1/-1. Until end of turn, whenever a creature with a -1/-1 counter on it dies, exile the top card of each opponent's library. Well, what is the X for? Yeah, cool. I'm trying to figure that out. Like, was it supposed to be X -1/-1 counters? Which in that case, I think this card might be a little bit insane. Yeah, I forgot. Forgot the X. This is now an AI generated card with a random X in the casting cost. You got that right. Oh, X is equal to the number of counters. So we can snare for this is so cheap. So we can place this face down for 2. Make it face up for a lot less. It's basically the same casting cost. I have no idea how to interpret this thing. I'm just gonna hope that this is fine. It's like, if the X is large, the payoff is high. If the X is small, it may do nothing. But that's all I have to say about that. Okay, Glamorous Gleam. Black, black, blue, blue, 2 generic. For a snare. The snare cost is 3 mana. When Glamorous Gleam enters or is turned face up, put a finality counter on it and target non-face down creature artifact. Then gain control of that permanent. Yoink! Then sacrifice Glamorous Gleam. I like it. Probably, is it any permanent? Put a finality on and target non-face down creature or artifact. I think it could be for a lot less mana, to be honest. I think this is like insanely overcosted. Like, you look at something like, for example, Gilded Drake. So I think this could be for... Oh, I see, but we're just stealing it. At least Gilded Drake, they got something. I think the overall mana value can still be 4. And we do sacrifice this, so we can't blink this thing. I think it's 100% okay as it is. You know, and I don't mean to like push this card that's going to swipe things from our opponents, but I bet it safely could be 1 less mana in the casting cost. It's got a nice art, that's for sure. Okay, next up, the Hymn of Terror. This is a 6 mana snare. The snare cost is 4 mana. When Hymn of Terror enters or is turned face up, each opponent sacrifices a creature. If any of them can't, each of them loses 2 life. Repeat this process for each planeswalker and enchantment. Draw a card for each opponent that sacrificed one permanent or less this way. Then sacrifice the Hymn of Terror. Okay, enters or turned face up. Each opponent sacks a creature. That's not pleasant, but whatever. If any of them can't, each of them loses 2 life. Repeat this process for Planeswalker and Enchantment. It reminds me of Death Cloud, right? Is that what it's called? Death Cloud? Draw a card for each opponent that sacrificed one permanent or less this way. Oh, okay, so if they only sacked one thing, you got value. I think it's slightly improved Death Cloud. When Terror Wave all over the land. Or a slightly different Death Cloud, I should say. Yeah, it's got a very Invoke Despair vibes to it for anyone who likes those types of cards. The Maddening Menzo. That's a pretty sweet art. Okay, 4 mana for a snare. Double black for the snare cost. When Maddening Menzo enters or is turned face up, target opponent discards 2 cards. Oh god. Then sacrifice it. Metalcraft. If you control 3 or more artifacts, repeat this process for each other opponent. Oh, so that everyone like discards some cards? Alright. What's the term for abilities that aren't keywords? Raid and Celebration, for instance? I don't know. Just random keywords. Made up, fluffy, imaginary keywords. Okay, we got the Melody of Memories. Blue, blue, green, green, black, black for a snare. The snare is 4 mana. When Melody of Memories enters or is turned face up until end of turn, whenever an opponent creature dies, reanimate under your control. Manifest and sacrifice the Melody of Memories. Now, this one I actually can't tell if it's too expensive or not. Like, I don't want to push this card, but probably this is fine. Like, because hold on, how does this card work? Whenever an opponent's creature dies, reanimate it under your control. Then you get to also manifest and sacrifice Melody of Memories. Does this get sacrificed only when the condition is met? Like when an opponent creature dies, you bring it back? It says until end of turn. Oh yeah, until end of turn. I guess it sits in play at end of turn. Which in that case, maybe it should just say also at end of turn, sacrifice Melody of Memories. Yugi teaches us how to top deck. Oh yeah, you gotta believe in the heart of the cards. Are these snares basically Yu-Gi-Oh traps? To some degree. To some degree. Hey Michael, welcome. Welcome to the show. Okay, thank you very much for the Sapta Sagara cards, Majra. All right, next up, we've got Winter Fox. Winter Fox is back with more colorless, crazy cards. I lied. 2 more. I know you lie every week, don't you, Winter Fox? Not snow. Colorless, surprisingly. Oh, okay. El Prophetess. You actually make cards that are not snow. You're right. Okay, we got El Prophetess Spring Aria. Green, 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 green. Phyrexian. I don't know what makes this Phyrexian. Does anyone see the Phyrexian in this card, people? Okay, as the saga enters, we add a lore counter, of course. Chapter 1. Tapping a forest adds 1 additional green. I think that's templated wrong. Isn't it like when it, I don't know what's the right templating, but that's not it. But whatever, I know what you mean. Chapter 2. Green creatures you control gain trample and have +1/+1. Or maybe it is has. Doesn't sound grammatically correct, but at the same time, maybe that's what it needs to be in order to give the creatures +1/+1. And then chapter 3, target green creature you control gains indestructible and +4/+4 permanently. Now, mind you, remember how much this thing costs like 7 mana +2 life, or 8 mana, so there's nothing broken about this card. If there's one thing Winter Fox will do, Winter Fox will make sure every card is balanced with a ginormous mana cost. Ginormous. Okay, what's the second one? We've got a Rena Arindel. It's a Wind Singer for, again, another 1,000,000 mana. What is this, actually? This is 11 mana. Yeah, it's 11 mana. But it's got an adventure for a green Phyrexian and also 2 generic. Instant. Search your library for El Prophetess's Spring Aria and add it to your hand. Shuffle your library, then draw 1 card. Is that this? It is. It is the Spring Aria card. Shuffle your library, then draw 1 card. Oh, that's great. We get extra value. What's funny is, like, you can pay that for 3 mana, but, like, it's going to be impossible still to cast that thing. And then lastly, this card has Defender Ward 6. Other green creatures you control have +1/+1. And Rena Arindel, Windsinger, is unaffected by your opponent's card effects. That makes absolutely no sense. But basically what you're saying is, like, okay, whatever your opponent does, there's no way it can touch this card, but you have to settle with something. You have to give it, like, you got to give it hexproof or shroud, or it cannot be sacrificed, or, you know, you got to choose 1 or 20 if you want to. There's no such thing as is unaffected by your opponent's card effects. Yeah, I am completely invincible to whatever you do. If you do something that puts my Rena Arindel into the graveyard, well, it just doesn't do that. Or put it from exile. No touchies, this card. Yeah, protection from... Well, even protection from opponents doesn't do anything, because even if you have protection from opponents, they can still board wipe. You know, Supreme Verdict doesn't protect you from protection from opponents. Unaffected means it also blocks off non-targeted effects. Yeah, I know, but, like, that's a little ambiguous. This keyword doesn't exist. Yeah, is not affected by effect equals Yu-Gi-Oh words. This isn't Yu-Gi-Oh, damn it! You gotta take off your Yu-Gi goggles. Gotta take off them Kaiba, the Kaiba jacket. Dragon says, could say if removed from the battlefield, return it back tapped or something. Yeah, you could say something like that. That would make a little bit more sense. If it would be removed, it gets back to the battlefield. It's got word 6 already, for crying out loud. Anyway, I gotta disqualify this card. This keyword doesn't exist in Magic. You gotta choose something. You gotta choose something, Winter Fox. Or have that other thing. Okay, yeah, you could use the keyword of, like, if it would leave the battlefield, it gets returned instead. Elixir, thank you very much for your super chat. From an earlier topic, savor the moment. Oh, you're talking about savor the moment has people kissing in the secret lair art, more or less. Donate, have a good evening. It does not. I will prove it. Savor the moment. It is just very intense looking at each other. That's not the same thing. Okay, well, we want the secret lair one. See? Hold on. We're gonna get really close here. I've done the forensics on Savor the Moment. Alright? There's no touching here. It's really close. It's really close. Not even close enough for Wizards of the Coast. They're like, you can't have those people kissing. It's impossible. Their noses are touching. That's confirmed. The bottom lips, not even close. Maybe the top lip. Maybe this is the closest it gets. I need to see the original high definition artists. I need Kieran Yanner. Maybe I'll try to message them on Twitter or something. Does the top lip in the secret lair drop actually touch? Maybe not. I don't know. But it could be just a visual thing, you know? It's so far away that it just looks like, you know, because of it's not HD, because we're living in, like, well, we're not living in 4K here. Because we're living in 1080p, it looks close after being zoomed in. I mean, Earthbind was fine. There's no kissing in Earthbind. Like, there's nothing wrong with Earthbind, according to Wizards of the Coast. But kissing is a problem. I don't think they would reprint Earthbind, but, you know what did they reprint Earthbind? Actually? I don't want to derail this show too much, but let's look at Earthbind. That was an alpha card, wasn't it? Revised. Collectors International. Oh, they didn't make a gold border one. They didn't make a gold border one. Like in the anniversary, they had everything except that. Look. They have Summer Magic, Foreign, International. It was good enough for the collector's edition at the time, but it wasn't part of the 30th anniversary. Or hold on. What was it called? Collector's Edition? Or is that the old card? Is this the old Collector's Edition? Yeah, I think this is the old one. Okay, so they didn't reprint it. No, Earthbind's not allowed anymore. Okay, let's get back to the show. Anyway, there's no kissing on Savor the Moment. Where am I here? What are we doing here? Okay, we have a donation. Okay, let's donate it to the Discord. Okay, so I'm gonna close. I'm gonna close my eyes and then we'll basically choose something at random. Woo! Oh no, I wasn't moving. Okay, now we're moving. And we land on. Why am I not moving it? Oh, I'm at the bottom here. Okay, I'm flying up. Flying up now, right? Oh, it's a Pedgeman card. It's a room. Is this a real room, or did you? I knew they would try to make a room. Oh no, this is their rooms. Okay, we'll move up one. Okay, we got AM. The black double colorless. 2 generic. Legendary artifact. AM can be your commander. Okay. AM appears to be some inanimate object. When AM enters, choose 5 creatures your opponents control. Destroy the rest. Oh, so you leave them actually with a board presence. The chosen creatures have base power and toughness of 0-1 and indestructible. What a weird clause. So, like, they're not dead, but they're basically small and useless. But they're indestructible. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, destroy that creature. That sounds terrible. You control all artifact permanents. This might actually be too strong. It's basically, okay, all your stuff is worthlessly small, and anything new that enters the battlefield, it's dead. Yeah, you control all all artifact permanents. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, destroy that creature. Yeah, it's too strong. Way too strong. Okay, next up. Okay, Darkstar Shura, thank you so much for your super chat. But cleansing Nova Secret Layers arts, especially the black and white, has kissing. Okay, we're going back. We got to reinvestigate this, everyone. We haven't. I'm telling you, people, I've done my homework here. Cleansing Nova. Where the hell is the? Oh, see, there's a secret layer. Oh yeah, this one. It's. Do you know what? You could be right, Darkstar Ashura, but it's more of like a drawing of kissing than like actual kissing happening. But you know what? Maybe this one slipped through the cracks. Maybe this is like, or maybe this is like the Wizards of the Coast version of artistic nudity. Maybe it's the closest thing. To be honest, it's actually hard to tell if they're kissing on the lips. They probably are. It's like, it's a little obscured, you know what I mean? Also, it's sort of hard to tell what the hell is going on over here. Maybe it's fine because they're like a unicorn. Anyway, thanks for giving me the, thanks for the input. It's low resolution enough to be allowed, I guess. Maybe it's ambiguous enough. Maybe they're clouds, you know? If they're a cloud, it's fine. What the F you mean? Of course it's a drawing. It's card art. I know, but like everything else is supposed to be depicted as like an actual thing that exists, whereas this is clearly art. Even in the Magic the Gathering multiverse. Okay, back to the cards we get. That will be a freebie. Oops. Okay, that'll be a freebie. We're gonna give that one to who we land. Nobody knows. Oh, it's gonna be for Pedgeman. Okina, the Doorkeeper. It's either gonna be 5 colorless or 5 colorless or Wooburg. It's a 5/5 god. Okina has hexproof and indestructible as long as you control a fully locked room. Tap, lock, or unlock a door on target room. If you locked a door this way, you may search your library for a room with a door with equal or lesser mana cost. Reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle. I assume that Pedgeman is the master of the rooms, has been designing them all year. Would know how to design a perfect room card here. Okay, next, super chats. Okay, it's another one for Madra. Oh, sorry, no, a donation from Madra, but to Pedgeman that we just already saw. Ramilia, where all blood flows. Ramilia. The hell is this? Word City. Okay, black, Rakdos, Azorius, and 3 generic for a 4 loyalty Vampire Ramilia. Whenever blood is spilled, put a loyalty counter on Ramilia. Blood is spilled when a player is dealt damage for the first time in a turn, or when a blood is put into a graveyard from the battlefield. I swear we might have done this one. I can't remember. I feel like we saw this on a show in the past. Even the card even looks familiar. But maybe Madra wants to see this card. Okay, 0 for each time blood was spilled this turn, create a blood token. -3 for each opponent, pay in blood up to 2 times. For each time you sacrifice blood, that player sacrifices a creature. For each time you paid life, that player discards a card. To pay in blood, sacrifice a blood, or pay 3 life. Then -13, you get an emblem with whenever blood is spilled, return target vampire permanent from a graveyard to the battlefield under your control. Now, question is, how the hell do you even do that? I mean, that's impossible. You need to go -13. This thing starts at 4. Oh, sorry, I forgot the first ability. Okay, everything is has been discovered. Yeah, whenever blood is spilled, put a loyalty counter on Ramilia. You're gonna buff the thing up. We can't go plus. We have to spill the blood. How quickly we have forgotten. Banger Planeswalker. Yeah, put counters when blood is spilled. Okay, next up. Will Anderson with Petri Chore. Okay, enchantment. Suspend 1 for a Simic. Sacrifice Petri Chore. Counter target black or red non-creature spell. When Petri Chore is put into a graveyard from play, draw a card. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so for 1 mana, so we get basically we get this in play turn 2, effectively. We can sacrifice it to counter target black or red non-creature spell. Interesting. When it's put into a graveyard from play, draw a card. So it's like really free. This is like a pretty good sideboard card, is what I'll say. I don't know if it's any good in Commander, but although I would say, like, what are the odds it'd be completely useless? Not very good. You'd have to be up against literally, banned players for it to be completely useless. So I like it. I think you can cash in on that card. Very good, strong hate piece. So long, Darkstar Shura. Enjoy the rest of the show. Hold on, do you have 1 card? Here, let's look at least 1 more of your cards before you go. I know you have another one. We'll get to it later. We got the Astralos. Oh, no, we did. Did we do that one? Updated? Did you, like, re-update it, like, immediately? Astralos. You updated. We've updated the escape cost by 1 billion. Okay, that's excellent. So it's not completely broken. Okay, is there anything different about this card? It's still 4 mana. It's a 5/2. Whenever Astralos and Lucius or another skeleton or warlock enters, if it entered from your graveyard or was cast from your graveyard, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. All right, I can 100% approve this card. Escaping for that much is better. So now it's like a 6 mana deal 5 ETB, which is completely reasonable. Okay, we got Hagen. Welcome, Hagen. Man, you had like 1 super chat super early, and now like 1 like super late into the show. Ill-begotten abundance. Begotten abundance. Which one is the ill-begotten abundance? Blood money. Oh, here we go. Ill-begotten abundance. Oh, here's the. Oh, I think we saw blood money earlier. Oh yeah, you're the one who created the insane removal spell. Yeah, the blood money. Okay, ill-begotten abundance. 3 mana enchantment. Whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2. If the player doesn't, you create a food token. So this is. What's that white enchantment for 4 mana? If they don't pay, they draw a card. If they don't pay 2, you get a treasure or something. It's like super ramp. This is just like a fair version of this, but you get food instead. Now, there's probably some ways you can abuse this, like with, for example, affinity. With the affinity mechanic, make things a lot cheaper, but I actually think this is relatively fine. Yeah, I was thinking of Smothering Tide. This is like a fair Smothering Tide. Probably for 3 mana this is okay. Like, foods aren't broken inherently. They're quite okay. They're very clunky. They don't get you a whole lot. You just, you gain 3 life. Big deal. You think this is scary? Ill-begotten abundance? Too much food on the battlefield? Okay, I will. All those who take but do not earn must pay dearly in their turn. Food tokens plus clock of omens equals danger. I don't know that combo. If it's a dangerous combo, then so be it. Let this card be a danger. I have no problem. Junk Chunk! Oh my god, Junk Chunk, are you here for this super? I hope you're here. The Crows and Blight, perfect. Perfect with home and, what's it, you said Hermit Druid. The Crows and Blights. I hope you're here, because I'm sure you donated this a million years ago. All right, we got a black, green, X, star, horror druid. It's got trample. When it's called Kamal, Crow's Bane. Is this the right card? Frozen. Yeah, look up Frozen Blight. Okay. It's usually people name their cards the topic, but that's okay. Okay. Kamal Crow's Bane. Trample. When Kamal Crow's Bane enters the battlefield, sacrifice X lands. For each land sacrificed this way, create a 1/1 horror dryad creature token with Death Touch. That's also a swamp and a forest. Now, Kamal power is equal to the number of lands in your graveyard. Toughness is equal to the number of lands you control. Ooh. So lands... Oh, and then you make creatures that make it bigger. So for each... When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice X lands. And for each land... This actually looks like it would just completely backfire on you, to be honest. Like, this is 100% fine. Like, when I look at this card, I mean, they could... Like, if you sacrifice all your lands and then they board wipe, you got nothing. I mean, like, I'm assuming you, like, wiped out all your lands in order to get this thing in play. Jung Chunk is here! Oh, excellent. Thank you so much for being here. Anyway, this is very much playable. I would be very careful about how many lands you sacrifice, though. You're not gonna get them back. It's not like you get. It's not even like you net mana out of this. But maybe you have some devious plan with this card that I'm not familiar with. Yeah, board wipe memes, you were screwed, big time. Okay, next up, we're gonna take a look at who hasn't got anything here. Don't know if Yoshu got one. That's a lot of words. Oh god, you're scaring me. You're scaring me, Yoshu. Or not. Oh, this is... I almost donated this to you. Okay. That's a lot of words. A red 2 generic enchantment. You and permanents and spells you control have protection from cards with more than 5 lines of text. Too bad. I'm not reading that. This is more of like an unset card. This counters like basically everything on this show, right? Almost everything, except for the box, the cat box. It counters everything on this show except that shroud. Oh no, not cat. Yeah, it was called a cat box, wasn't it? Was it called a cat box? Winter Fox? I can't remember. The kitty box. So the cat box strat can get through this. You and permanents and spells you control have protection from cards with more than 5 lines of text. Yeah, cat box. Cat box gets through. Cat box with shroud. What is this? Duke Nukem? I think it's Duke Nukem. Now, objectively, is this strong? You and permanents you control have protection from cards with more than 5 lines of text. You and permanents? I think if it said you, that would be fine. But permanents as well, I think might be too strong. I could be wrong. Maybe it's not. Like, it's not like Supreme Verdict has a whole lot of lines of text. Are card names text of lines? I don't know. It's a good question, Corbinik. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. 5 lines, ill-defined, card tampering varies. Oh yeah, absolutely. Hell, this card might have protection from itself. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines of text. Maybe 7 and 8 if you count the stuff in the border. Okay, we got Winter Fox says one more. The Mox Viola Dragon Eye. Mox Viola. Colorless, 3 generic, power converter. X tap. Target creature has +X, +0 until end of turn. Sacrifice target creature you control. Tap, add mana equal to the sacrifice creature's converted mana value only in the color, including colorless, or the combination of colors the creature requires for its casting cost. What is this again? 5 mana, X tap. Target creature gets +X, +0 until end of turn. Okay, that's innocent enough. Sacrifice target creature you control. Add mana equal to the sacrifice creature's converted mana value only in the color, including the colorless, or the combination. Oh, so basically like only like the devotion, essentially. It's not counting generic mana, if I understand this correctly. That is completely 100%, 100% fine. Winkleberry shows up at the end. Hold on, what's this? There's, well, someone had to make this a thing. Goblin researcher Grimfinger, the wild magic artificer. Welcome, Oinkleberry. The true 6th color of magic. 2 basic lands and a creature. The true 6th. Oops. 6th color of magic. Let's take a look at these. What is this? Basic land Pope? It's basic land crap. Oh, it's like literally a wasteland. It's so weird. It's like, okay, let's, I don't get this. Yeah, it's like a wasteland over there. It's a land, it's a landfill. Landfill, people. Okay, next up. Oh, we got the snow basic landfill. Basically looks like my city. If you go to the landfill. It's always snowing here. And then lastly, we got stench. It be stinky. Oh, yeah, it's for 2 crap and 3 generic. It is a 2/5 elemental incarnation with flash and death touch. When stench enters, choose up to 10 total power of attacking creatures. Untap those creatures and remove them from combat. For each creature removed from combat this way, their control loses 1 life and becomes sickened for the rest of the game. Sickened players cannot play cards from anywhere that but their hands. Oh yeah. And then evoke, exile a brown card from your hand. We already have brown artifacts and so on. Yeah, finally. Oh, Steve Cooper, finally garbage mana. Like, look at all that garbage you can go get. Go pillage all that garbage, Steve Cooper. Okay, now, objectively, how strong is this? It's got flash, which is problematic. It's not even that expensive at 5 mana. ETB choose up to 10 total power of attacking creatures, so you have to do this in combat. Untap the creatures, remove them from combat. For each creature removed from combat this way, their controller loses 1 life and becomes sickened for the rest of the game. They can't play spells from anywhere except their hands. Oh, we're just removing it from combat. Okay. You can evoke for with a brown card. It's like anti-graveyard in some capacity. Sicken should be changed until the end of their next turn. I have no problem. Like, I have no problem with people playing cards from their... Oh, I see. Is it too strong to force people to play cards from their hand? Because there's so many cards out there that say play from exile, play from your graveyard. It shuts down a lot of strategies. How about this? Just have it for as long as this card is on the battlefield. Players can only play cards from their hand. Because it also shuts down commanders permanently, right? So we can't actually have that. Probably it would be... Probably it's fine if it's just... It's not until... For the rest of the game, it is for as long as Stench remains on the battlefield. To that player. So they kill this thing or someone else kills it, they can play... Their hand is free. And their commander... My commander is free! Carbonac. Thought experiment. Real last card. Can't resist. It's funny how often we hear that on this show. It's my last card, I swear. Just one more. People are addicted to this show. Completely addicted. Quadruple blue, I like it. Instant, and also has split second. Return to their owner's hand all cards on the stack. The storm count becomes 0. Empty all mana in mana pools. So it's like the ultimate counter spell. I don't think it's broken. Let's reconsider our options and come out with a better outcome. Mostly for me, shall we? Yes, of course. Always mostly for the person who's casting the spell. Elixir! We've got the Fatal Presence. Black Sorcery. Name a card. I name Goblin Guide. Target opponent reveals their hand. If a card with the name is in their hand, that player discards a card other than the card named this way. What? If a card with that name is in their... Oh, if it's in their hand. Oh, I see. So like what I really want to be naming is like basic land. Otherwise, you lose 1 life and draw a card. If a card with that name is in their hand, that player discards a card other than that. What a weird discard card. I mean, yeah. I mean, sure. It's like Raven's Crime, except like you can't discard the land or the card that I named. Bit strange. Weird stuff. All right, Dark Star, sure. I don't really have nothing to say. It's like, it seems like a very, I don't know what the point of this thing is. Like, why are we naming cards and then getting someone to, if we're right, get them to discard something other than the card named this way? Otherwise, you lose 1 life and discard it. So, hold on. Oh, you lose. Is this like some weird way of, like, I don't know, getting, like, losing a life and drawing a card? We can cantrip this thing no matter what. This probably would, you know what, now I think about it, this card might see a lot of play. I don't know how powerful it is to cantrip for this 1 mana, but it might. Okay, Dark Star Ashura, we got Nun Danelle, Monstrous Feeder, for my draft set. Do you actually draft your own custom cards, Dark Star? This is, it's an Eldrazi. It is either, it's colorless 3 generic or Grixis 3 generic for a 6/6 Eldrazi processor with the Void and Ingest. And if you don't know what Ingest is, if you've forgotten about it, it's whenever the creature deals combat damage to a player, they exile the top card of their library. Eldrazi you control have, when this creature enters, you may put a card an opponent owns from exile on into that player's graveyard, and then if you do exile the top card of your library, you may play that card this turn. It's actually super on power level with a lot of other cards that exist in Magic, so I have nothing against this thing. It's just one of those, let's play cards off the top of our deck. The damn draws! Iceburger version 2. Is that like a hamburger but ice? Iceburger. Iceburger. Oh, it is. it's literally an iceburger. A little frozen. This is how your burgers look like when they arrive packaged to McDonald's. Then all they do is heat it up. Okay, this is 5 mana 0/0 food wall with Defender. Iceburger enters with 3 serving counters and gets +0/+2 for each serving counter on it. Tap, remove a serving counter from Iceburger. You gain 3 life around there. Here's my life sound effect. Okay, when Iceburger has no serving counters on it, you have to sacrifice it. 3 serving counters, it gets +2. So it enters as like a 5 mana 0/6. This card doesn't make any damn sense. So it's basically like, okay, maybe it's just like a bunch of life gain on here. I mean, it's fine. What a frosty burger. Oh yeah, Winter Fox speaking up. You like that burger? Does that make you hungry? Would a lot of winter foxes eat that burger? Proliferate, go burr. I mean, like, how broken can this be? Maybe if it was like super lame, you could have like tap, remove a serving counter from this thing and pay 2 mana. But like, I think tapping and removing the server counter to gain 3 life is fine. Proliferates many burgers. No, it's a serving counter. There's 1 burger. You'd eat that burger? It's a little bit cold for my tastes. Okay, with that, it's the end of the show. Oh no, hold on, we got one more. We got one from Rob. Thank you so much for your super chat, Rob. The 2-step sloth. Straight from here. I saw it out of the corner of my eye. Okay, we got a green, 2/4 sloth. Reach. When Artful Slother enters play, tap up to 2 target creatures. Also has a mask. You may play this face down for 2 as a tapped artifact with add green to your mana pool. Huh? You can play this face down for 2 as a tapped... Okay, more. This is like mask. This is not more. With add... Oh, so we're basically turning this into a mana rock that adds green mana. You may turn it face up whenever attackers are declared. So we can turn it face up for 3 mana when... Oh, okay. Okay, interesting. I like this idea of like the masked. This is a great idea, to be honest. Add green, no tap. I think that's the idea with I think the idea is, so maybe the templating is bad. It's probably supposed to be like, it's a mana rock that you can tap for mana, tap for a green, And I mean, if it's not this, then it should be. It's a mana rock you can tap for a green, and then later you can convert it into a creature. Like, isn't that like a great idea? Turn your mana rocks into something useful later on in the game when you have the mana you need to convert that mana rock into like something useful. I think that's a banger idea. Okay, so with that's the end of the show today. Thank you very much for being here. What a wonderful show. If you want to be part of it, you got to be here 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's when we start it. Thanks to everyone who supports the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or even super chat so other people are part of the show. And thank you very much, Coffee Crew, for being here and all your suggestions. Huge shout outs to Rob and Armando, Dragon Lord. We got Koo, the Damn Draws, Winter Fox, Pedgeman, The Jaded. Got Winter Fox, Nicholas, Majra, of course. Benovsky, Oinkleberry, Tetratim Bowman, Jess. Who else we have? Steve Cooper, Nicholas, the Phoenix Down. Because you guys are the show. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up them coffees, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.